Long before alarm clocks and digital calendars, dawn arrived as a slow, pale light easing across cottage roofs and farmhouse fields. People woke to birdsong, not buzzers, and their first acts of the day were unhurried, stoking a stove, washing a face in a basin, pausing for a prayer. In that gentler rhythm, the body enjoyed a natural transition from the quiet labor of sleep to the bright obligations of waking. Today, the sun still climbs the same sky, but many of us greet it by jolting upright, checking messages and throwing back a glass of water as if to extinguish some internal fire. Doctors tell us hydration is vital, and they are right, but the method can spell the difference between a morning that hums like a well-tuned cello and one that rattles like a loose window in the wind. If you are reading these pages in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, you carry an astonishing archive behind your ribs. Millions of heartbeats, oceans of blood filtered by loyal kidneys, countless meals digested by an ever-adapting gut. Every system still works, yet each now asks for courtesy where once it tolerated bravado. A teenager can leap from bed, swallow ice water, devour a sweet roll, and dash into the day with little consequence. An elder's physiology, rich with wisdom but less forgiving, prefers courtship. That courtship begins with how, when, and why we drink water in the delicate minutes after waking. The most common missteps hide in plain sight. Correcting them costs almost nothing and often rewards us within days. Below, you will meet 5 of those missteps, each told through stories of real people whose names have been changed, but whose experiences echo across kitchens and bedrooms the world over. Their lessons weave practical science with the poetry of lived life, reminding us that health after 60 is less a strict diet than an ongoing conversation between attention and respect. Read slowly, perhaps with a warm cup by your side, and listen for the small tug of recognition that signals this might be my story too. Then step into tomorrow's sunrise, prepared to greet your seasoned body with the same tenderness you would offer a lifelong friend. Mistake 1. Starting the day with ice-cold water. At first glance, the habit seems harmless, even invigorating. A frosty gulp splashes awake the throat, the chest, the mind. Many wellness magazines praise cold water for boosting metabolism, though few specify whose metabolism they mean. Overnight, while dreams wander through the theater of the brain, temperature regulation drifts downward. Blood vessels in the skin constrict to keep core organs warm. Heart rate hovers at a nighttime low, and digestive muscles idle like a quiet engine. Dumping icy liquid onto that idling engine is much like flooring the gas pedal of a parked car. Metal and fuel can handle it for a while, but age exposes every weakness. Eleanor, a retired librarian who kept her wits as sharp as the corners of her perfectly stacked books, was proud of her morning discipline. By 6:30, she had swallowed a chilled glass from the refrigerator, claiming it cleared the cobwebs. Within months, tiny warning flags appeared: tingling fingers, a hollow flutter below her sternum, mild stomach cramps that arrived midway through toast. She tried eliminating butter, then switched bread brands, then blamed the new mattress. Not until her grandson, a medical resident, questioned her ice water ritual did the pattern surface. Together they ran an informal test. For 7 days she drank water that had rested overnight on her bedside table, naturally warming to about 18 degrees Celsius. On day 3 the cramps eased. On day 5 her hands warmed. By day 7 she announced she could digest a brick. Nothing else in her routine had changed. The physiological explanation is straightforward. Cold water triggers a brief narrowing of blood vessels, a phenomenon called vasoconstriction, reducing blood flow to the digestive tract, precisely when that tract most needs oxygen to restart. It can also provoke a mild vagal response, slowing the heart and producing those odd chest flutters Eleanor felt. Younger bodies recover in minutes. Aging vessels and nerves may need an hour. Lukewarm or room temperature water avoids the entire drama. If ice has been your longtime companion, think of this shift not as deprivation, but as refinement. Place tomorrow's glass near the alarm clock tonight. Observe how the first sip feels traveling downward. Does it soothe rather than shock? Does breakfast sit more comfortably? One change, no cost, and perhaps a more harmonious conversation with your own circulation. Mistake 2. Gulping instead of sipping. Water, unlike wine, rarely inspires savoring rituals. Thirst can feel urgent after 8 dry hours, and culture applauds efficiency. Get your hydration done. Walter, a 72-year-old former track coach, embodied that motto. Decades of training athletes had taught him to hydrate aggressively, so each dawn he uncapped a 1-liter sports bottle and emptied it in under 2 minutes. Some mornings he rose too quickly afterward and saw the room tilt. Other days, a dull nausea forced him back to the edge of the bed until it passed. Blood tests, heart monitoring, and balance checks showed nothing grave. Then a physiotherapist asked, "How fast do you drink?" Speed matters because the stomach is not a bucket, but a stretchy pouch equipped with sensors. When fluid arrives in torrents, stretch receptors fire alarm bells up the vagus nerve. Too much, too fast. The brain responds by slowing heart rate and dilating peripheral vessels, which can lead to dizziness or a faint, especially if blood pressure medication is already on board. Kidneys, roused abruptly, may overcorrect electrolytes, leaving one lightheaded or fluttery. Walter agreed to a small challenge. Spread the same liter across 15 minutes while seated on his porch swing. He set a timer, took 1 swallow every 30 seconds, and watched robins patrol the lawn. By the 3rd morning, dizziness vanished. By the 7th, his energy lasted deeper into the afternoon because the kidneys released water steadily instead of shunting it straight to the bladder. Think of each sip as a polite knock on the door of your cells. "May I come in?" They have time to answer, resource staff, and integrate what arrives. Gulping is a battering ram that forces entry but leaves rooms in disarray. A teaspoon is absorbed across the gut lining within 30 seconds. A tablespoon may need 2 minutes. A flood forces the body to triage. Slow sipping also invites mindfulness. The gentle clink of glass, the pause for a breath, the soft swallow, these sensory notes can anchor the mind, replacing morning anxiety with grounded presence. Tomorrow, pour your usual allotment and meet it slowly. Notice flavors you never discerned, a metallic whisper from the pipes, a sweetness if your town treats water with ozone, even a faint minerality if it flows from an old well. Such noticing turns hydration from a chore into a tiny meditation that steadies both blood pressure and mood. Mistake 3. Reusing overnight plastic bottles. Convenience has a plastic smile. Lightweight bottles perch on nightstands, car cup holders, and walker baskets, promising no-spill security. Yet beneath that cheerful swivel cap lies a quiet chemistry set. Plastics contain stabilizers, BPA, BPS, phthalates, to keep them flexible. Time, heat, and ultraviolet light coax those stabilizers into the fluid they cradle. The process is subtle. You cannot taste or smell it. Over weeks, however, the body tallies each microdose and files a complaint with the endocrine system. Hormones, those tiny messengers regulating everything from sleep to bone density, dislike impersonators. Stanley, a widowed carpenter with a fondness for overnight crosswords, kept a translucent bottle at hand. Because arthritis made sink trips bothersome, he filled it once, sipped for days, then rinsed it when I remembered. Autumn turned to winter. A room heater hummed by his bed. Headaches visited in the morning, along with a bloated feeling that pressed against his belt. Routine physical exams shrugged. Blood work normal, blood pressure within targets. During a holiday meal, his granddaughter, an environmental health graduate student, lifted the bottle, squinted through the scratches, and gently lectured about plastics marked Recycle 7. She gifted him an old-fashioned milk bottle with a cork top and urged a daily refill. 2 weeks later, Stanley's headaches slipped into memory. His bloating receded enough for him to punch a new hole in the belt. Laboratory research supports his anecdote. BPA mimics estrogen. Phthalates interfere with thyroid signaling. While single sips are harmless, chronic exposure can nudge weight upward, fog concentration, and tangle sleep architecture, issues often blamed on just getting old. Glass, ceramic, or food-grade stainless steel have no such leaching tendencies. They are heavier, yes, but consider them dumbbells for the wrist, offering a double health benefit. If grip strength is limited, look for silicone-sleeved glass bottles or install a small water carafe with a tilted spout that pours effortlessly. A final tip: whatever vessel you choose, refresh it every dawn. Overnight dust, skin cells, and yes, the occasional curious insect can settle invisibly. A quick rinse reawakens the taste of water and honors the microbiome of your mouth, which would prefer not to greet yesterday's microbes. Mistake 4: flooding medications with too much water or too little food. Prescription labels condense complex pharmacology into bite-sized phrases. Take on an empty stomach really means take when stomach acid is high enough to dissolve this pill swiftly. Take with food often translates to take with fat or protein to slow absorption and prevent nausea. Water volume interlocks with those instructions. Too much water can dilute stomach acid, hampering dissolution. Too little can leave a tablet lodged, irritating the esophagus. Margaret, spry at 80 and fiercely punctual, downed her thyroid pill with a full 8-ounce glass because she once read that water helps pills work. She then brewed tea, padded to the living room, and within minutes felt queasy. Her doctor tweaked dosages twice before a pharmacist asked for details. The fix was comically simple: 2 or 3 moderate sips, enough to escort the pill past the gullet, followed by sitting upright for half an hour. With less water sloshing, stomach acid remained potent, the pill dissolved efficiently, and nausea retired. The flip side involves with-food medications, such as certain pain relievers or antibiotics. Swallowing them on a rumbling stomach with only water for company can inflame the gastric lining, creating the burning misdiagnosed as heartburn. A slice of avocado, a spoon of yogurt, or even a smear of nut butter on a cracker provides the minimal fat or protein cushion these medicines crave. The trick is timing: 10 to 15 minutes before or after water. A small kitchen timer can sit near the pill box as a friendly metronome. Complicated? Perhaps. Yet think of it like driving a stick-shift car. At first you stall, soon it becomes muscle memory. Create a morning sequence: pill, measured sips, light stretch, then breakfast preparation. Let each action hand the baton to the next. If multiple prescriptions pile up, a pill organizer labeled by hour rather than day can simplify matters. And remember, your pharmacist is a free consultant whose phone likely rings less than the doctor's. They relish questions like, Can I get by with 3 ounces of water for this tablet? Mistake 5. Skipping breakfast and surviving on water alone. The modern wellness marketplace sells intermittent fasting as a golden ticket to longevity. For many younger adults or those with specific metabolic goals, strategic fasting can indeed improve insulin sensitivity. Yet the blanket assumption that every body thrives on a 12 to 16-hour fast ignores the shifting hormonal landscape of later life. After 60, nighttime growth hormone pulses fade, cortisol dawn surges sharpen, and muscle protein synthesis demands more frequent amino acid triggers. In plainer language, an older body needs gentle, regular refueling lest it cannibalize its own muscle or exhaust its adrenal glands. Alice, 69, embraced a trendy online program promising mental clarity by abstaining from calories until noon. The first week felt exhilarating. Slight weight loss, a buzz of alertness that she mistook for focus. By week 4, her daughter noticed repetitions in conversation and a fatigue that wrapped itself around Alice's cheeks like gray gauze. A dietitian friend ran a glucose monitor trial. Mornings revealed roller coaster dips. Readings plummeted to 65 milligrams per deciliter. Low enough to cloud memory, but not dramatic enough to cause collapse. A soft-boiled egg, 1 slice of multigrain toast, and 6 almonds before 8 a.m. leveled the curve within 2 days and re-brightened Alice's eyes. Water remains crucial in this picture. Adequate hydration makes blood volume sufficient for nutrient delivery. But a car with a full radiator and no gasoline goes nowhere. Combining water with protein, egg, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, complex carbohydrates, oats, fruit, and modest healthy fat, nut butter, olive oil, offers the trifecta that stabilizes glucose, preserves lean tissue, and supports the hormones regulating mood. If chewing is troublesome, smoothies blend all 3 macronutrients into a sippable form. An elder whose dentures pinch can whirl milk, banana, peanut butter, and a dash of cinnamon into a breakfast that feels like dessert, yet fuels like lunch. For those reluctant to eat a meal, even a single medjool date paired with a cube of cheese outperforms a water-only fast. Think of breakfast not as a grand banquet, but as kindling that coaxes larger logs to flame later. A gentle closing, turning habit into heritage. Temperature tamed, pace moderated, vessel purified, medication timed, breakfast restored. Individually, these steps seem modest, almost quaint in a world buzzing with genetic tests and smartwatch alerts. Yet health after 60 hinges less on dramatic interventions than on whether everyday rituals nourish or deplete us. Each morning offers a blank ledger. How we drink our very first glass entries the opening balance. Adopting these courtesies need not feel burdensome. Tie them to landmarks already present in your dawn landscape. The kettle whistle becomes a cue to sip, not gulp. The soft chime of a phone alarm marks the moment to roll water in the mouth and note its warmth. The click of a pillbox prompts measured swallows, then a mindful pause so medicine and stomach can shake hands. Breakfast arrives, perhaps on the same plate each day, grounding the brain in familiarity while feeding it varietal nutrients. Share the process. Spouses can quiz each other playfully. Room temp ready? Grandchildren visiting for a sleepover may marvel at the antique glass carafe and learn ecological responsibility along the way. Neighborhood walking groups can begin with a communal warm water toast before lacing shoes. In this manner, what began as self-care blossoms into communal culture, a model of aging that exudes calm wisdom rather than anxious restriction. Was that a lengthy essay for something as simple as drinking water? Perhaps. Yet simplicity invites depth. A violin has only 4 strings, but a master can coax symphonies from them. Likewise, one glass, one sip, one swallow, handled with respect, can orchestrate circulatory grace, digestive ease, steadier emotions, and a clearer mind. May tomorrow's glass be your instrument, and may the melody it inspires accompany you through a day of comfort, clarity, and quiet confidence.